Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the series where I get to chat with you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place, and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. Right then, you lot. So, we've come out to another episode of My Collecting Life. And I'm guessing the question is, who is on this week's episode? Well, why don't we all find out? But before we do, listen up because there's a new drill to be learned. Pop yourself around to a neighbour's because it doesn't matter whether you are home or away. Grab yourself a Castlevania 4X if that's what tickles your fancy. Or, if that's too strong for you, grab yourself a Foster's. Chuck a couple of shrimp on the Barbie. Sit yourselves down, put your feet up, make yourselves comfortable, and let's take a look at some of their collection in a musical montage. Righty then. So once again, we are treated to another fantastic collection, and it was an eclectic collection as well. I must say that's a big word for me, eclectic. Loads of stuff in there. So we had some Turtles, we had some Marvel, we had some Motu, Rock Lords, Boglins, Transformers, dinosaurs, Lego, and we even had some nightmare fuel stuff, including the Spice Girls and the Fuglies or the Fugglers or whatever you want to call them. But anyhow, it is a pleasure to welcome to the channel for the first time Moneek, also known as Mrs. Insane in the Toy Brain. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very well, thank you very much. We're talking off air, and like I say, I've got this like gleaming halo across the top of my noggin. It's because it's early morning on a Sunday, and in the UK that is, and yeah, and I'm just looking all angelic. So what can I say? And no, it wasn't planned, but that's how it is. But look, listen, a massive thank you for doing this. I really do appreciate it. It's lovely
No,
to finally
thank
get
you.
to chat to you on a one-to-one basis. So yeah, cool. Cool. I mean, you roughly know a little bit about the series as Daniel was on it a few months back.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You okay? I
Yep,
like the
yep.
elaboration there. Yes. Yes. It's
Yes.
as simple as that. Okay. Right. So I've got 10 questions for you, all about you and your collection. Run time roughly about an hour, but if we go over, not to worry. But I know you've got things going on in the background, so I want to try and keep it to an hour for you. So
That's
so
fine.
there you go. Right. So when you're ready, we'll crack on with the first question. Let's get
I'm
this out of
ready.
the way. Let's get prepped. There you go. Right. So the first question is, what toy lines were you into as a kid, and what memories do you have of those toy lines?
So, as a kid, re- I was a big plush toy collector. So
Right.
anything plushies.
Yeah.
Um, I loved Tweety as a kid from the Looney Tunes. So I had a lot of Tweety memorabilia.
Okay. The
Uh,
little bird.
my the little bird. Yep, the
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
yellow bird. I remember also unicorns. I had an obsession with unicorns, so a lot of
Okay.
unicorn as well.
Yep.
Barbie. I had a little bit of Polly Pocket, Beyblades, Pokemon, even magazine subscriptions. So
Sorry. What was
if there
that?
was one that
Beyblades.
had
What are those?
Beyblades, so they were little round discs, like it's kind of hard to describe, but they were little ring Beyblade, like blade things that you just put a cord in, like a zip, like a zip toy,
Oh.
rip
Okay.
toy.
Yeah. 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 And they go flying
And then
across
you
the
rip
floor.
it, they go
Yeah. Yeah.
flying
Yeah.
across the floor,
Okay.
but they had a
Right.
ring. They were in a arena kind of thing, and
Oh. Okay. Right. Yep.
the catchphrase was "Let it rip."
Oh, okay.
So when you rip it off the pull,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I had some of them. Yeah, it was magazine subscriptions. So if there was anything that was like plush related, there was an animal one that I really remember. It was African animals. So there was lions one week, a tiger the next week, and they were like just twee little plush things
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing worth it. But hey, I was a kid, wanted
I mean,
it.
you don't see much of those magazine subscriptions anymore, do you?
Not
They seem to
anymore.
be a thing of the past. That's God,
They really
wow.
are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I was one of those ones that if I kind of liked it, I'm like, hey, can I have that? Can I have that?
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I was one of those kids there. I was if I like it, I hey, can I have it?
No,
Please.
that's fair enough. Fair enough. And what about Christmases and birthdays? I mean, do you have any specific memories of Christmas and birthdays with presents and stuff like that?
So being only child,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember yeah, I was spoiled.
Yeah.
As some, I mean,
Well,
it's
why not?
probably bad to say that I was spoiled, but yeah, I remember having the family. So they'd always come over to my mum's house, and yeah, we'd celebrate Christmas as a family. Presents. I remember one toy that I was from Santa. It was actually from my grandparents, and I remember very, very well. There was a fur real polar bear that came
Okay.
out,
Yep.
and I so badly wanted it that my grandparents actually had to speak to someone in Perth that they knew and have it shipped over because they were sold out absolutely everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was sold out a month prior to Christmas. So they
Wow.
knew that I wanted
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and yeah, I remember that Christmas very vividly. That I was told later on that that's what they had to do to get it for me. But
Wow. So where did they
that was
pre-order it from then?
so
Did they
they
ever
knew
tell
someone
you?
in yeah. So Western Australia, they knew somebody in
Right.
Western Australia, and
Yeah.
They said, and it was in the middle of nowhere, this suburb that they knew someone, and yeah, yeah, so it
Right. How cool is
was
that?
all the way. It was, yeah. So that's one of my very very fond memory of Christmas, of
Yeah.
waking
Oh,
up and
that's awesome.
having that polar bear, and then yeah, later on being told this was you better love it because it was yeah, it was
You
hard to
will
get.
like it. Yeah, yeah.
You will like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was one of my very good memories of Christmas. So
Wow. Wow. And what about Saturday morning TV? Because I know in the UK when we were younger, we always used to have like sort of like boys cartoons like G.I. Joe and Transformers and
yeah.
He-Man and stuff like that. I mean, was there anything like that that you had either on a Saturday morning or sort of like after school viewing?
So there was a TV show of a morning. It was called Cheese TV that I would
Right.
always watch before school, and I was at my grandparents' before school because the school was down the road. So my mum would drop me off. But I also grew up with an uncle who's 11 years older than me. So I used to watch whatever he used to watch. So it used to be the Turtles and Power Rangers and
Yeah, yeah.
whatever was on. So I don't remember watching them, but like, well, I don't remember episodes, but I remember watching with him, and same as like when he did grow up, obviously it was just me, so it was Cheese TV. So there would be Pokemon on of a morning, there would be the Beyblades of a morning, and it was always religious. I would have to watch in the
Mm,
morning Cheese TV before I went to school. And then Cheese TV, it disappeared, I think, even before I finished primary school, like before year six. So I was pretty
wow.
upset. And
Yeah.
but it was such an awesome. And then if you were up too early, it used to be yoga and exercise. So
Oh,
you'd have
yeah.
to wait for the yeah for the fitness show.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, damn it, I'm up too early.
I mean, I can't did you say they did a TV series of Beyblades?
Yeah, yep.
Well, how did they do a TV series of Rip
It
poor
was a
thing?
cartoon. It was a cartoon.
Yeah, yeah, but I
Yep.
mean, what do they actually sit in the Beyblades then? Did they? Did people sit in them or how did
Yeah,
that
so
work?
it was literally like a big arena kind of thing. It was so weird. It was like Pokemon where they're in a big arena with the Beyblades. They were in
Wow.
arena too,
Wow.
and it's just like as a kid, you don't realize like,
Yeah,
oh my god, like these small little Beyblades are in a massive arena fighting each other.
yeah,
So it was like,
yeah.
but as you look back now, it's like, hmm,
Isn't it weird
yeah,
that they,
you have to look it
back
up.
in the day, they had like the imagination to do that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not too sure whether it's like that these days because I'm not too sure what the state of the children's TV is with animated series and stuff like that. But
They
we used to
they
get all
did
sorts
bring
of
it.
great stuff.
They did try and bring it back out.
Right.
And when I was in high school, like I think I was like late high school, and the quality of the Beyblades, like let them rip, and even the quality, like they wouldn't last as long when they're bashing against each other, and it's like the
Yeah.
metal wasn't as good. So like back then, you would cut yourself. You didn't want to grab one out of the little battle arena because you would get cut. And then yeah, when they
Wow.
re-brought them out, it was like, oh yeah, you could touch them because it wasn't really a metal kind of thing. It was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
safer.
health and safety probably got involved. Oh, blimey,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what it's like
We
today.
grew up in a different time.
We did. Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I find it really interesting because I've never ever sort of like heard of Beyblades. I've probably seen them, but I probably didn't really pay too much attention to them. But with in Australia, what was it like with your toy stores and stuff like that? Because I know from experience in the UK when we was a kid, we used to go in and the shelves we used to be stacked from like floor to ceiling of just toys. There was
Yeah.
hardly any empty shelf space, not like you see today in the toy stores. I mean, was it the same in Australia?
So I remember the only toy store that I remember, like actual toy store, was Toys R Us.
Okay.
And I remember the shelves were always full, always full.
Yeah.
You go to like Toys R Us isn't around anymore as like an actual toy shop, but
Yeah.
even going to Toy World, Toy Mate, which have been around for apparently a while, and I don't remember them. Growing up, I just remember Toys R Us. But yeah, you go to the toy shops now, and you will see some empty shelves. And you go to our local shops as well; they're not as full anymore as what I remember as a kid. So I think it's either they're not selling as much anymore, or like, and then I think it's really as well staffed. that
Yeah.
they're just too lazy to bring things out. So I think it
No,
was more like,
possibly.
yes, let's get it out on the shelf. It's selling, it's selling, it's selling. Now
If
stuff
if
sells out
anybody's
on the
watching
shelf,
that
and they're like,
works in a
yeah,
toy shop, please do not take offense at that. We're not pointing at anybody in
no,
particular. Just like,
no,
oh, blimey, you know.
no, no, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
every
yeah.
shop. It gets to a point as well, like in customer service, that yeah, you're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
well,
yeah.
we got to go stack it, or it's lack of staff too. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but no, I remember always going to into Toys R Us, and it was always full,
Mm.
and it was fun going.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was. I mean, like I say, we would we were back in the, the 80s and probably early 90s, mid 90s. We were spoilt for choice really with the amount of toy lines that were available back then. Because like say the 80s, you had the golden era of like Master of the Universe, Transformers, Star Wars, GI Joe, and then even into the 90s, you had like SpongeBob. You had not was no
Yeah,
SpongeBob wasn't around in the 90s, was it? The
SpongeBob I think
Turtles
came out
and what's the other one?
maybe like early
Power Rangers.
2000s. Power Rangers.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, the longevity of those. I mean, with the turtles, I noticed that when I speak to a lot of the Australians, they have huge turtle collections. I mean, what is it about the turtles that you guys seem to like over there?
I To be honest, I don't know. Like I only really I played with the turtles from my uncle because he had them.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just played whatever he had, same as with the Transformers. And Daniel, he grew up with them. So
yeah,
I to be honest, I do not know.
yeah. That's. Yeah, I
The
mean,
turtles are like, I mean, I collect some of the turtles are mine too because
yeah,
we're
yeah.
collecting together. But I don't know. I honestly don't.
It's so weird because I mean it's a huge toy line and it's a line that I've not really because I was at the age when I was kind of like growing out of toys, when Turtles
Mhm.
came out. But I just it frightens me the amount of stuff that they've done for that line, the different waves of figures, the different
Yeah,
companies that are doing the figures, and it's mad. It is mad, and I
yeah.
don't have the room or the funds to sort of like dip into that. And because you know what it's like when you get into collecting, you get one thing, ooh, and then you start getting more and more, and all of a sudden you've got a huge collection. It's
Yeah. Them.
yeah, we'll get to those in a bit. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and them too.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say we get to those in a bit. So, what was your favorite toy line as a kid and why? Or did it sort of like change from sort of like when you sort of like at a certain age, then you went on to something else?
It probably changed. Like as a like Barbie, I remember having a fair bit of Barbies. I don't remember how much
Yeah.
I had, but I know that I had Barbies, and I still probably at my mum's. I had an Olympic 2000 Barbie that I got from my great grandparents. So I know that I was still collecting about 2000, which I would have been about. Well, I was 93. I was under 10 years old. um, but yeah, I changed. So I would
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
yeah, I had the Barbies, and then I had the Pokemon when it come out, and like Tweety I always grew up with. So whenever I seen Tweety,
Oh, that's the
my
point.
mum
Pokemon as
my
well. That
mum
was another
purchased.
big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like I had the Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and yeah, all of that's now gone. Sold when I was a
Yeah,
kid
yeah,
and in
yeah,
garage sales and things like that. Yeah, I was never one to stick with one thing. I was always changing as
yeah,
I grew.
yeah. I find it really interesting because when go back to when I was a kid many years ago, it was Star Wars, and it always has predominantly been Star Wars. But I've also dipped my toes into other IPs like Transformers, Motu, a bit of GI
Yeah.
Joe, and I've said it many a time. It was my friend. He was an only child, and he had any toy line that you could imagine at the time back in the 80s, and it was like, okay, so I'm just going to pop round to my friend's house for the weekend, and we just all sorts of stuff there, and it was absolutely fantastic. Then of course, in the mid 80s, the Nintendo game system came out, so we sort of like played on that for a couple of hours, and then we
Mhm.
just like enjoyed other things as well. But I find it interesting that when people say that it kind of like shifted from one thing to another, whereas for me personally, it was always the main Star Wars as a kid, and I don't think that's to do with the fact that I had two sisters. So my parents said, like, you're having one toy line. this is it. There you go. And it's like, okay, I'm okay with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
interesting.
that's the fun thing, like having my uncle with the age difference. So I had, well, he had the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and he had the
Yeah,
original
crikey, cool.
PlayStation, and
Yeah,
we had
yeah,
a N64 as well. So I grew up with the consoles. So if the
yeah,
family had one, then it was always, hey, can I go to Ned and Pops anyway for the weekend?
yeah,
Or like I was definitely there after school and before school. So it was always I'd go play, and then my uncle wouldn't be home anyway because he'd be still coming home from school. So I'd go play in his room on the
yeah,
PlayStation and the Game Boy as well. So and then when eventually the Game Boy Color come out, I got my own Game Boy Color, and I got a PlayStation 1, so the very small one, I got one of
yeah,
them,
yeah. That was the grey
and then I
one,
had
wasn't
my
it?
own fun.
Was
Yeah,
that the
that
grey?
was a
No,
grey, yep.
was it the grey one? Yeah,
It
yeah,
was like
yeah.
it was like a grayish white,
That's it.
so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the same color. So, yeah, and then I had one of them, so but it was still I wanna go to play on my uncle's because he had some games that I couldn't play because
yeah.
it was shipped. It was he had burnt copies of games,
Well,
so
that's the thing, isn't it, as well? Because you had the different game stations then start coming out. And do you think then that you know the fact that these game consoles come out and as the generations have gone on, they've been more like, okay, let's go online and start gaming and stuff like that. And do you think that's why there's not so many collectors out there today of like of a younger generation that play with the toys? It's all like online stuff. I mean, even online shopping, isn't it? So maybe that's affected the
yes.
stores a lot. So do you reckon that's partially to blame?
It's yeah, because everybody's inside and they're just on one thing.
Yeah.
Like they'd rather be on the games. So I mean, they can collect games. There are collectors in gaming, um, and I'm not saying that they're not collectors.
Yeah, yeah.
They certainly are because they're like collecting games. So and that's the thing these days too. Everything is digital. Well, a majority of things is digital. So you don't even get physical copies anymore. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, if you buy from the shops, you're just getting a case and that's it. It's like, what am I going to do? You're paying more for a case.
yeah,
So, but no,
yeah.
I think the gaming consoles have kind of taken away collecting of items.
Just on this subject quickly, because I don't want to deviate too far off what we're supposed to be talking about. But do you think that in the future there will be less people that are actually out there collecting toys, or do you think they might sort of like have a turnaround and then people might start getting back into it again a bit more as they get older?
I think they might when they get older, um, because they realize what have I done? Like,
Yeah,
why have I been inside the whole time? Um, that they might. It's a 50-50. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't know. I mean, I was that kid that was outside. I didn't collect toys. I was always outside.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, these days, yeah. So it's
So
50-50.
So talking about that, when you were a kid, when did you stop playing with your toys, and when did you become a collector? Because I know, you know, it was the same with most of the people that I spoke to. They get to a certain age, and I think, oh yeah, we've run out of toys. You know, there's skateboards, there's football, there's other things that we, you know, as you do in
Yeah.
life. I mean, I'm guessing that was no different from you.
I I never stopped playing with my plush toys.
Okay.
I still actually have some of my originals from a kid,
Oh
and
wow. Yeah, yeah,
um and one is currently in our room because of little one because I've passed it down to little one. So, but
yeah, yeah.
it wasn't for the fact of oh, I want to pass it down. It was no, these mean something to me. Like I've got Builder Bears as well that I've had since I was a young kid. So
Oh,
they're
Builder
all at mum.
Bears. Wow.
They're all
I
at
mean,
mum.
how long have Builder Bears been going then? Sorry.
I've got no idea, but I think my first one, I might have been, I think I might have been 15 when I first got my one. When I got
Wow.
that I
Yeah,
remember getting. Um, I mean, they could have been going longer, but I've got no idea. But yeah, no, I've got my Builder Bears, which are still at mum's. I'll eventually get them here when I've got room.
yeah.
But yeah, no, but no, I probably got out of it like actually just buying stuff that was toy wise, probably early teens.
Yeah.
And then yeah, collecting started in about March 2022, not long after our daughter
Okay.
was born.
Wow. Not long then.
Yeah, our
Not long
first
at
were
all.
the NECA turtles
Yeah, yeah.
and two boglins. They were what started us. collecting, really.
So up until that point, I mean, so did Daniel, was he a big influence in you collecting, or was it something that you personally felt that you want to get back into
I
or start doing?
I think I'm the one because,
Oh, really?
and
Wow.
yeah, so we went to our first toy fair back in March. It was March,
Yeah,
April of 2022, and we just thought, "Oh, we'll go along, we'll see." Daniel still had his original turtles from when he was a kid. His mum kept his figures,
no, that is
and a
cool.
couple of other lines, and we kept them. Well, it was good. We brought them over, and we're like, "Well, we're having a child." We didn't know if we're having a boy or girl, so we didn't
Yeah,
care
yeah,
if it was a boy or a girl. It's you're still gonna have these. Um, and then yeah, after she was born, it was just I was scrolling on Facebook and had seen there's a toy fair local to us. Like we'd been watching YouTube for a little bit, and we'd come across toy fairs over in America and overseas in different parts of the country and
yeah.
things like that. We're like, oh, cool! Like that'd be cool if something like that's over here. And yeah, one showed up that was literally actually 5 minutes down the road. We
Oh,
were like,
wow.
let's go. And yeah, we had seen the turtles in a video before, and we're like, oh, that'd be cool to own. We'd seen them, and I actually was the one that pushed Daniel into going back and getting them because I said to him, "If you're not going, then I'm going to go get them for the price for the five that we got." Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I said, "We need to grab these for the price,"
Wow.
and
Yeah.
so I think it was me.
Ah,
I think I was the
that is
influence.
cool. I mean, and that was the first toy fair you went to?
That was the first toy fair that
And
we came home with.
as an experience, how was that? Because, 2022, not really too long after COVID, was it? So everybody's sort
Yeah,
of like getting used to going back out again. How did that feel in
yeah.
that respect of things?
Um, Good. It was good being back out, and because we don't really go anywhere, and because of obviously me being pregnant the year before, like during
Yeah,
COVID, so for me to get out again, and I wasn't pregnant, so I didn't have a pregnant belly. I was still going to work, so it was good. But while I was pregnant, but yeah, it was good to get out there and be with everybody, and it wasn't that busy, so it was good. It wasn't everybody's on top of each other,
yeah,
and yeah, it felt good. And that's when we also turned around. It's like, oh, let's keep going to these if they're gonna keep going. And yeah, we've been going to every one
yeah.
since. So,
Oh, that's
but yeah,
awesome.
I think I'm the bad influence in the collecting.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's so funny because I remember I went to myself and Georgie went to Echo Live in Redditch, and it was the first one they had after sort of like lockdown and stuff like that. And we didn't really think too much about it on the way up there, and then we got there and there's this massive queue, and it was like quite a smallish space, and there's like quite packed, and you don't think of anything, and then someone sort of reaches across you, and you're like, whoa, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. And it's always playing in your back of your mind, and oh god. But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that you've been to many more toy fairs since then.
No, definitely we've
Yeah.
kept on going to collector-cons, and this year there's 7, so we'll be going to all
Wow.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you meet
2
up with other
are 2 of
people?
them.
You meet up with other
Yeah,
YouTubers and
yeah.
stuff like that? Yeah,
Yep,
community
we meet
members?
up with
Yeah.
we meet up with them, and couple of sellers that we know as well. So we've kind of gotten into a group now of knows who, and it's pretty good being a part of a community. Like we were kind of ones that are, I wouldn't say we didn't have friends and we didn't have like social circles,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
since the toy fairs, yeah, we've got a nice little group now. So it's always good to see them when we
How
can.
different is going to toy fairs now? Knowing now that you know people and that that you get to know the sellers, you get to meet other people from the community. I mean, it bring a different aspect to the toy fairs to you now?
It definitely does because you can ask as well of like, "Hey, I'm looking for this," and
Yeah,
you've got
yeah,
a whole new fresh eyes. So I might miss something, Daniel might miss something, but somebody else can be like, "Hey, did you see this?" And it's like, "No."
yeah,
So, and that's the thing. Like we were at in lining up one day, and we got told, "Hey, Darkwing Duck stuff is on a table. Go straight there." We did. Now we probably would have missed that because we would have gone to a different hall because there's 3
yeah.
halls, and
Oh
that's the
wow.
thing. So
Okay.
the fact that
Yeah,
we know people who are sellers, vendors that are inside the hall already, and they've got, hey, we know you like this, go here. So it's pretty good. It's and same as like outside of like the toy fairs, if
Yeah.
you're on Facebook and you on the Facebook Live with auctions and things like that. And yeah, it's like, hey, we've got this. Hey, have you seen this? So it's always good
Yeah.
when you know who likes who, and it's just like, hey, look out for this. So everybody looks out for each other.
Oh, that is
It's good.
awesome. That is awesome. I mean, yeah, since being part of this like community and being involved in it, for myself and Georgie, it definitely does bring a different element to the toy fairs when you because it used to be myself and Georgie, we used to go and we used to have a great time and it was all good. And I'd sometimes feel a little bit flat if I come back and go, oh, I'm not really sort of like got too much. But now it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter because you get to meet up with other people and you get to socialize and stuff like that, which is really cool. Um,
yeah.
what toy lines do you currently collect? And I've got a feeling I'm going to regret asking this question, especially with those things behind you. Yeah. Yeah.
We're the
I mean,
both.
I mean, they're not the prettiest of things, are they, to be fair?
Oh,
I mean, what got you
I think
into
that's why I
those?
love them. So, which one's the Boglins or the Fugglers?
What they're both as bad as each other, but the Fugglers, I mean, for goodness sake. I've seen those in stores over here and I walk past them, I'm like, ooh, the teeth is, oh my God, it's just,
I
they're
think
scary.
that's that's the thing. I like unique. So
They're
it's
unique. Yeah,
that's
yeah. I'll give them that.
that's actually my first one I ever bought.
Is it? Well done.
Yes, that's actually my first one I ever bought. He's actually stayed in box.
I mean, let me just enlarge you. Get you look. I mean, look at the state of that. Not Monique, she's lovely, but look at that thing. Look at the state of that. What is that?
And that one behind is actually like triple the size. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is the teeth on that are terrible. I mean, I know you like unique, but what is it about those that appeal to you? Just the fact that they're ugly. You
ah,
felt sorry
I
for them.
think that's
I'd felt
why.
for him.
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's
really?
why. I think because
Oh
they're
God.
ugly. They're different, and they've also like because they're all kind of like their own little uniqueness, and they've actually also got chase variants.
Oh, crikey.
Which
Jeez.
yes, so this one here, he's strapped onto the box, but he's got a green button on his
Oh,
little
well,
bottom,
well done. Yeah, yeah, yep.
whereas the standard ones have just got plain tan. So it's
Okay.
kind of a little bit of a chase.
Yeah,
But I also didn't know that until maybe last year that they had
yeah.
a
Because
little variant. So
okay. Are you into variants as well now with those?
yeah, so I've been collecting if I find one with a different button, and I'll admit
The
that I
excitement in your voice there when you said that, it's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, chase
yeah,
fairies." Look.
little chase variants. So I'll admit there's been some that I've actually taken out of the box while I'm at the shop,
Okay.
and I've looked
Yeah.
at seen if there's a different color little
Oh
button,
god.
and yeah, so it's fun. I'm up to 130 of them.
Wow. Wow, that
Yes.
is a lot. That is a
So
lot. Oh
yeah, I
god.
haven't. Yeah, I've have stopped for a while. I haven't. I think the last one that I got was this one here, the Christmas one.
I mean, goodness me, look at
So
oh.
my daughter enjoys playing with them, and it's fun
Oh,
when we
does
go
she?
to the shops.
Okay,
And
I
she,
was
yeah,
like, bless her, but
she loves them.
yeah, cool.
Uh, yeah, it's my weird and wacky collectible. So and there's more actually coming out very soon.
Oh,
So
really? Do they do different
yeah,
waves then? 'Cause I don't
so
I
there's
don't have a clue about any of that sort of stuff.
yeah, so there's you had the Christmas ones, so that's
Yeah,
one of the Christmas ones. There's a Santa version as well, which is in my daughter's room.
right.
They've got two Valentine's Day ones. I still haven't got them yet. They're at the shops,
Yeah.
so I haven't got them yet. They got baby ones that are in a little box. They got the keyring ones. They've got that's coming out. They're gold. So
Oh,
they've got
okay.
something
Yeah.
gold on them, whether it's gold teeth or a gold eye. Um, yeah, so there's different waves. Oh, and then you got the big ones as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's insane, that's insane. I mean, I can kind of understand the Boglins because I think Boglins were around when we were kids. They've been around a long time.
so
So are
yeah,
they
so I hadn't even heard of them
yeah.
until like just before my first collecticon that I'd ever heard of them, and I'd seen them, and I'm like, oh my god, and we even, like, looked them up online, and it's like nobody in Australia had them, so I'm like, "Well, probably won't ever see them."
Yeah.
My first collector con, there was a seller there, and I'm like, "Oh my god." And yeah, I bought one, and Daniel got one too, and he's like, "It's really yours."
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that were the first things I actually started actually collecting, with
Yeah.
apart from the NECA turtles. So yeah, they came like the Fugglers I'd just seen at the shops, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll buy what." I think I bought 2, and then I didn't really collect them again after that, but yeah, it was the Boglins that I first started collecting.
Wow. Because I mean, they're like a rubbery kind of thing, aren't they? And are they like
They are,
puppets where you
yeah.
put your hand up into the side of them and stuff like that? And
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, they are. They are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Ah,
They're
wow.
still they're even actually still all in and sealed, so I haven't
Yeah.
taken any
Well,
of
I
them
mean,
ones
how
out.
many of those do you
And
have roughly?
so I've got 5 there, 6 there, so it's 11, 12,
God, double
14,
numbers. Wow.
16, 18, 20, 22.
Wow. And,
uh,
and,
22,
will you be getting
23,
any
and
more of those
24.
as well? 24. Will you be getting any more?
So when if they do more, uh,
Yep.
possibly, possibly.
Okay.
So I've got all the new ones that are out, the new wave. So the recent ones. I've got 3 originals,
Yeah.
like OGs. So and they're pretty hard to get that aren't all broken, and because that's the thing, the rubber
Yeah.
deteriorates.
Yeah. Parishes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been lucky with the ones that I've got aren't like that. I mean, one of
Yeah.
them I do have that's still in its box. I mean, the box is not the greatest. He's not the greatest, but he's got a lot of meaning behind him too. Of he was given to me as a birthday present, and I
Okay.
had wanted him anyway, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was always, oh, do I not?
Yeah.
And then yeah, I was gifted him, and so it was. But I mean, even with the beaten box,
Yeah.
it was always, and I was always going to buy him anyway. So it was just of like I needed a push, and then yeah, I got him gifted to me. So I'm like, well, I don't have to buy him now.
Oh, cool, cool. So,
But no,
what are the prices
they're
like
cool.
on the original ones then? With the original ones, you know,
Yep.
the boxes are beat and they've deteriorated slightly because of they're old. I mean, do they still go for silly prices? Are people still expecting to get big money for them, or because I
I mean,
again I know nothing about these boglins.
it's not silly money, um, but in a way, it is, for what they are.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say what I paid for one of
No,
them.
no, no. I'm not asking for any like how much you spent. I've just
But they've yeah, they're
yeah,
people are asking big money for even ones that are deteriorated.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Because I mean, the reason I'm asking is because we, I mean, I like collecting some of the original like Star Wars figures and stuff like that from the
yep.
70s and the 80s. And we go to some of these places and some of them are on cards and stuff like that. And they are asking big money for them. Now, as a rule, I kind of not too keen on paying that kind of big money for them. But
Mm,
if I want to pay that big money for them, I want them the cards to be absolutely mint. I want the
yeah.
bubbles not to be dinked and yellowed, and I don't want the figure to be yellowed. Whereas sometimes you see a card that's kind of like not great, the bubbles yellowed, the figures yellowed, but they're still asking the same kind of money that you would expect to
Yeah.
pay for something mint. And I'm just wondering, is that the same kind of thing that happens with the boglins?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the one like one of them that I've bought, he's got 3D printed eyes. So it's not original, and he's missing a squirter. So he's a squirting puppet. He
yeah,
originally had a squirter in there,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean he's not original, but I still paid, I would say, good money for him.
And you knew
Um,
that he wasn't original
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
did? Okay, cool.
No, yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew he had the
Yeah, yeah,
3D printed eyes, and he was missing the squirter, and it was one of those, because he was in decent condition, and I knew the seller as well, and he did a good price still on it,
yeah, yeah,
for me, because he knows, in I'm the Boglin queen.
yeah.
So yeah, no, he
The
still did a
Boglin
good
Queen.
price and stuff, but it was still, yeah, I was the Boglin queen for a while when I was buying them constantly, like when the new wave come out, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. pre-ordered, and but yeah, no, I still paid good money, but that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
if you want something, yes, he's not original, but to find one,
Yeah.
you're paying like you're paying really, really good money to get pristine. So it's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm getting him.
Yeah. So what does Daniel think of the Fugglers and the Boglins then? I mean, is he okay with, well, obviously he is okay with those, but I mean, what was his first reaction? Like, what the hell was that?
So the Boglins he was fine with for the fact of he
Yeah.
he got one as well.
Yeah.
And because I mean, they're still in the boxes. I mean, I can get some of them out of the boxes. We have taken them out and have
Yeah.
brought a plate. He's fine with the Boglins. Um, when a new wave comes out, he's just like, oh, okay. Um, he's like, it's your money, and I'm like, yep. The Fugglers, I bring a new one home, and he's like, where are you gonna put it? And I'm like, I don't know. That's the thing.
Wow.
I've
Yeah.
I Yeah, just to even get them into one photo, just I can't get them in one photo. That's how many I've got now. So it's they're in bags at the moment or in boxes,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
taking up space in the front room. So
Oh,
as a,
gosh.
as I said, I've taken a break for a little while from them. So
Yeah. Yeah. I've got to
it's
say, they are the weirdest things I've ever seen, and I don't think I'd mind them so much. It's just the teeth. And I'm like, what? Sort those out. You know, you go to a dentist, son. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
they are peculiar, but fair play to you. Fair play to you.
that
Is there a
they're
toy like?
I've
Sorry.
actually even got them attached to my work bag.
You-
So I've got some that come to work with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That's great. Yeah. Yay.
yeah.
Um, is there a toy line that you don't currently collect, but you would, you kind of seen them at a toy fair and go, "Oh, I wouldn't mind sort of like dipping my toe into that." Is there anything like that that you've sort of seen that you wouldn't
So
mind starting up again, a new toy line or
well, I loved as a kid I grew up with, and I remember them. I had the Barbie Macca's toys,
the
and I
Barbie
don't
what,
know if
sorry?
they were Barbie Macca's toys, and they were just plastic little dolls,
Right.
or like the whole thing was plastic.
Yeah.
And I'm actually starting to collect them again. I had them as a child, so I'm
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
I seen them one collecticon and didn't grab them, regretted it.
Yeah.
And it's now if I see them, I'm going to get them. So I'm trying to collect them again. And I've found three so far. So two of them are the same that I've got, but
Yeah.
I don't care. So any of the Barbie Macca's dolls, like the toys,
Okay.
yeah, I'm weird.
No, no, look, listen,
um,
it's not weird at all. I mean, everybody collects what they like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I find it really interesting and fascinating to come across these different toy lines that I don't know too much about. I like that. I like knowing about different toy lines. I mean, with the Fugglers, I mean, I know they exist and stuff like that. It's something that I wouldn't collect, but I think it's great that someone likes them. The Barbie stuff. I mean, Barbie was huge, and it still is. I mean, that's going for 40 plus years. But
yeah.
not too sure about the ones that you collect, the little ones. I don't think I've ever heard of
So
those.
yeah, they're just little McDonald's. I don't know if they were ever released as a toy in other
Oh,
countries with
McDonald's
Macca's, but
toys.
yeah, they're McDonald's toys.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Macca's.
they're
Okay,
McDonald's
right. Yeah,
toys.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, McDonald's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm collecting them again. So
Yeah.
I
Are they easy to come
it's
by?
now if no, because as
No.
soon as it was funny because yeah, I saw them once and then I went to the next Collecticon and the next Collecticon and then couldn't see.
That's weird, isn't
It
it?
was just
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
one of those I should have grabbed it
Yeah,
because there
yeah.
was actually a couple there and I'm like, right when I want them, I can't get them. I mean I can go online, but I'm one of those ones that I would rather see it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, no, I can't pay online prices. I mean, online prices and Collecticon, like with toy fairs, yes, they can vary, but it's just like, no,
Yeah.
I want to see it and look at it and be like, yep, all right, I'll grab it, or to just be like, yep, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah.
that's that's probably the one line that I'm trying to get.
Get back into. Yeah. Oh, cool. That's some
And I
stuff.
collected the Rock Lords that I
Yeah,
hadn't even heard of ever. And yeah, I'm older than me, and I'm collecting them too. So if I see them, and I
you pick them
for a
up as
decent
well.
price, because they can be crazy prices too.
I
So
mean, with your collection, I mean, how much, it, how does your collection differ from Daniel's then? I mean, do you? I mean, obviously you collect different things, but I mean, do you find
yeah,
yourself collecting the same toy lines as well?
I'm the one that buys random stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, he likes the Rock Lords. He with the Macca's toys, we've got our sets as well. So he's got the Nugget Buddies,
yeah,
which I vaguely remember as a kid. He remembers them well. So we've got the Macca's toy, like McDonald's toy line, and that we share together. The Lego we both share. The turtles, yes, I share with him now because I've bought some of my own.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm one of those collectors that if I like it, I buy it. It might not match what I'm collecting, but
yeah.
it's like, okay, I like that.
I think that's great. I really do, and I love the fact that you collect as well as Daniel, and I mean, because Georgie's the same. I mean, Georgie's mum has always been into like dolls' houses, so there's just a massive collection of dolls' houses and just some
Yeah,
proper old style vintage stuff, and which is fantastic. And Georgie's always had that within her to collect and stuff like that. And I think it was since we've been together. I mean, we've just both sort of like egged each other on site kind of thing. And
yeah,
I'll never forget Georgie's always said to me, and she's probably regret saying it, but if you see it and you like it, buy it because you never know when you see it again. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay. And I like quite a bit of
yeah.
stuff, and you know what I mean. So I just think it's great. I think it's awesome. Yeah,
That's me with Daniel. It's just like, just buy it. Like that's the worst thing. Like he's the one that'll be like, and I'm like, buy it.
yeah,
I'm the instigator in the
yeah.
toy in the house. It's like, just
Oh,
buy it,
cool,
just buy
cool. Just to say, for those of you, if you can hear an alarm going off in the background, I do apologise. The neighbours burnt the toast again, so they'll be turning it off in a minute. Um, do you have a sentimental piece or a prized piece within your collection? Piece within your
I
collection.
I I strangely do, and
Okay,
it's a chicken Elmo
a chicken Elmo.
from a chicken Elmo from 2002.
Right.
It was a toy that I so badly wanted when I
Yeah.
was 10, or 8, 9, 10, and never got one.
Right.
And Daniel surprised me with one for my birthday a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And
Cool.
it is the best thing in my collection that
Yeah.
he's a little holy grail of mine. So yeah, it's a chicken
Awesome.
Elmo.
Cool. Cool.
That's my little
Yeah. So,
grail.
I mean, have you got them to view?
He's down in the corner.
He's in the
I
corner.
can grab him. I can grab
Okay.
him. Oh,
Look at those turtles in the background there. Awesome stuff. Liking those. What have we got? Ah, okay. So it's Elmo dressed as a chicken.
yes,
That is awesome.
he's my little grail,
Your little
and I
grail
won't
piece.
turn him on because he is loud.
Oh, is he? Okay, fair dues. That is
He's loud.
really cool. That is really cool. I like that. So, do
Yeah,
you like the
he's
puppet? Do you like the puppety type kind of things in like Sesame Street and the Muppets and
so I grew up with Sesame Street. I grew up with Barney. I
yeah?
loved Barney
Oh
growing
my
up.
god, the big purple dinosaur. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, he's actually
Oh
turning
well, I'm
on.
not going to turn him on. He just turned himself on. He's possessed.
You just turned him off. Just wake up my daughter.
Oh really?
Maybe.
Oh wow.
He
He's got
just
all the
turned himself
moves as
on.
well. Look at that.
Yeah. Is he gonna turn off? No, he's not turning
He's got a
off.
lot to say for himself, hasn't he? Wow. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
I did I actually thought he had an off button too, but nope, he doesn't.
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
no,
you're
he's
saying you like your puppetry and that sort of stuff, or
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I grew up with Sesame Street. I grew up with Barney. I still actually have my original Barney, which I gave to my daughter. So she loves him, and we've got a big Barney now. He's like bigger than the
wow,
NECA style
wow.
turtle. So
Yeah.
It's yeah, I love the puppetry kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's different. Would I own a puppet? That actually, I mean, I've got my boglins, but to own an actual puppet, oh, I think I'd be freaked out to own one in the house.
They are cool. They are cool. Um, you've already said about you've already got a growl piece, but do you have? Is there any other growl piece that you would like to add to your collection? And when I say growl piece, I don't necessarily mean it's got to be the most expensive thing in the world. It could be something that you like. You say those
The Barbies.
Mackie D
The
Barbies
Mac-
that you've seen, and then you can't see haven't seen them again for like a while.
so my second Grail piece that I would love, I haven't got one yet, and I've seen them on eBay, but I'd prefer one from the wild. Is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
original Pokemon Pokédex.
So poker what?
A, a Pokédex, a
What is that?
Pokemon Pokédex. So
What is that?
it's what they use to tell you the Pokemon information.
Right.
So during the show, they've all got one. They flip it, pull it out of the pocket, flip it open, and it'll tell them what the Pokemon is, and that's in front of them. And I grew up wanting one of them, and that's another piece that I never ended up getting. So
Yeah.
that is a piece that I am chasing, and they are
Okay.
not hard. They're hard. They're hard to come by. That's in decent and working
Hmm.
condition for a all right price. So
Wow.
that's one thing that I am chasing, but I'd rather find that in the wild than online and on
Yeah.
online. So yeah,
Again, Pokemon is something that sort of like it started coming out again when I was past the age of like collecting toys, so I knew about it and I was aware of it, but I didn't really get into it. And again, I know that was a big thing back in the day. I mean, it was huge, and
yeah.
it still is. And and even today, you've got people still playing the Pokemon Go game. I mean, I don't, do you know what I mean? It's you play that
I
as well.
do.
Yeah.
I still,
Okay. Cool. Cool.
I
Cool. I
did.
mean, there's
I
nothing
played
wrong
it.
with it. It's interesting. I've got to say.
I downloaded it the day that it came out. Daniel was playing it too, and then we did take a couple of years break from it, and then we started
Oh,
back
okay.
up. So now
Yeah.
I play it when I'm at work because I've got a Pokemon gym across the road. So I go put my Pokemon in, and when I get
Oh,
to work,
it
and
is so weird. I mean, I again, it's something that I was aware of, but I didn't really know too much about. And so we went up to London, myself and Georgie, and a couple of other couples of friends, and we went up there, and we were sitting down on the South Bank, and we were eating, and the two guys just got up and disappeared. I was like, Where have they gone? Where have they gone?" And oh yeah, they've just gone off to get their Pokemon. I was like, "What?" It's weird. I mean, it's so insane. And even guys where I work, he's in his 60s, and he's so serious about it. And
yeah,
I can remember one kid said, "Oh, do you mind giving me a lift home?" And this guy goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And all this kid wanted to do is we know it's late at night. He just wants to go home. But the guy is giving him a lift, has driven off into the middle of nowhere before he's taken him home to go and catch a Pokemon. And this kid said he's sat there and there's about 5 or 6 of them just hovering around, just like with their phones. And it is the most peculiar thing. I
that's
mean,
how it was when it first started. Like when it first came out,
yeah.
yes, we did go driving around to different places to get certain
Wow. I mean,
Pokemon
how
or the
far did you
Pokemon
drive?
gyms, and
What was the furthest you've driven?
not that far.
No?
It was maybe 20-minute drive was the furthest we went before we came home. So
Wow.
it was,
It
and then like obviously we'd go places, so we'd pull our phone out. We're like, oh, we're in a different place now because we're somewhere for an
yeah.
event or the shops. Even it's like, oh, so what's here today? And yeah,
They do
it's
events. They do
I still play
events.
it. They do events. So Tokyo has events.
Mm.
Like UK, there's big events. Like there'll be a weekend, and yeah, they'll be in big parks, and yeah, it's a. I mean, I
Like,
don't go to any of them,
so I'm
but
not being naive or whatever, but just talk me through what Pokemon Go involves, and what is the idea behind it and the point of it. I mean, is there an end game?
there is no end game that I know of.
Right.
Uh, I mean, you want to try and collect all the Pokemon, as you got to catch them all.
Yeah.
um, it's. I think it's more for the fact of like you want to be in the Pokemon world.
Right.
So yes, okay, they're physically not with you, but you've got them right there on your phone
Yeah.
digitally. You can't.
Okay.
They don't die. You don't have to feed them. You don't have to. I mean, you still got to. like give them, if you battle,
Yeah.
their health does obviously go to zero. So you've got to give them potions and medicine and stuff like that. But I think it's more the fact of you're in your own little Pokemon world and you get
Yeah.
to enjoy it. So I think that's what got it for me too, because I grew up obviously loving Pokemon. So it was
Yeah.
cool. I can have Pikachu, I can have Charmander and Charizard and
All
Bulbasaur.
these
So it
names.
was
Yeah. Wow.
that that was like one of my little, yes, I can have my original, like I can have the original Pokemon on my phone
Yeah.
digitally. So I think that's the hype. For some people it is very like, I'm all into this. Like I need
Yeah. Yeah.
this, I need that
Some people take it
XP,
very
I need that.
seriously. Yeah. Yeah.
Some do, but the
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
I know, I've got a few people who still play it that I play it with, and
Yeah.
they don't take it seriously. They're just like, it's fun.
Well, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Just one last question on Pokemon. How do you get Pikachu onto a bus?
No, I do.
Pokemon. I get my coat. I get my coat. Blimey, okay, blimey, dearie me.
That's a good one.
There you go.
That is a good
Oh,
one.
stop it, stop it, stop it. Don't encourage me. Um, would you ever consider starting your own YouTube channel?
To be honest, no.
Okay,
It would be fun, but Daniel and I have actually had this conversation before as well.
okay.
Of because we have been asked before. It's like, oh, would you do it? Like, oh, you should do it because Daniel does 3D printing, so they're like, you should do it, and it's like we've got a little one, and it's pretty hard to do it when you've got a little one.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we're pretty family orientated. So
yeah,
we like, yes, we like going out and toy collecting, but as Daniel has said as well, like with when we talk to people, it's like, where do you stop and how do you end? We're like, if something happens to us, or if we just get over it one day, and it's probably how you feel too one day, like where you just like, how do you stop? Like, do you just say goodbye? Do you just not do it anymore? It's so it was like, Instagram is where I can just, yep, cool. And if I don't want to do it anymore,
yeah, yeah.
don't have to. It would be fun, yes,
Mm.
but I think it'll take up a lot of time. I mean, I go to bed kind of semi early. Daniel's the late one, but yeah, I think it's just a lot of work for us. I don't. I mean, for me anyway. I can't talk on Daniel's behalf really. But yeah,
It
we've
is time
both agreed.
consuming. It is time consuming. It really is. And I've said this. It doesn't matter how big your channel is. How it it is time consuming. Some people have got more time than others to be able to do
Yeah.
videos. Some people haven't got the time really to kind of do it. So and I know for a fact that when people do a video, how much they put into it. Do you know what I mean? Because
Oh,
it is time
it'd be a lot
consuming
of
and
work.
stuff like that. They do. They put a lot of and some people are that they're lucky because they got more time to sort of like do these videos and stuff like that, whereas other people sort of like maybe haven't and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's about getting the balance right as well. It really is. I mean, when
Like
I first started,
I give credit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
give
yeah.
credit
Well,
to
likewise, I
anyone who
tap my
does
hat
it.
to anybody who does a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It first and foremost, it's supposed to be a fun thing to do. It's supposed to be
Mm,
a hobby. Y- Anybody can get up and do a YouTube channel.
yeah.
And they can talk about whatever they want to talk about, whatever makes them happy, whatever they enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it can get quite tiring at times. It really can. So, and you've
Yeah.
got a
No,
little one
definitely.
to think about as well.
Yeah,
So I mean
it's
that's a priority.
hands down to anyone who does it. Like, is a legends for doing it. But me, I don't have the time. I
No,
don't
that's
have
fair
the
enough.
patience probably either.
No,
It's
again,
I'm one of
that's
those ones that
yeah,
I think I've got more like, I love Lego, so I think I've got more patience with Lego than to, because that's the thing too. It's like, oh, have I done this right? Have I edited it? Oh my god, like what are people gonna think? Like, and I think that's what plays on my mind too. Is like, is anybody gonna like it? Like I was nervous to do tonight. So it's like, to do an actual YouTube video, I'd rather just do the Instagram where it's like, if nobody likes what I'll post, then oh well. that's them, and I mean, you get it on YouTube as well, but it's
I
just like,
kind of think the same thing about the videos. If I do these videos, if people don't like them, yeah, don't watch them. I'm still
yeah,
going to do them because I enjoy doing them, and I know there are people that out there that do watch them. So you're always kind of doing a video for the people that will watch it and do watch it
yeah,
and do follow.
but
So
you're doing it for yourself too.
no, of course, yeah. Like I say, first and foremost, it's supposed to be fun. When it's again like everything, when it stops becoming fun, and you're absolutely right. When do you stop? I mean, I've not even thought about that. But I've always said if
Yeah,
I don't enjoy it and I've stopped enjoying it and I don't, no longer enjoy it and blah blah blah, then I will either A take a step back or B just stop.
yeah,
So
yep.
there you are. We're coming to the top of the hour. I've got two questions left for you. What gives you that toy collecting buzz?
I think it's just being able to look at it at the end of the day, or even
Yeah,
when you wake up, like just sitting on the lounge. We've got it in our lounge room, so you just look at your collection and just be happy, and puts
yeah,
a smile on your face of like, I I I bought that, or like I've got some of my uncle's like we've got some of my uncle's original turtles that he gifted my daughter and husband, like with Daniel. So they're in our
yeah,
collection. These Voltrons that I played as a kid. I've got them, and same as the Transformers, and so that stuff I look back and it's like that's my childhood.
yeah,
And some of the other stuff is like I I smile at the end of the day. It's
yeah.
like this is cool. I don't have a plain boring ass uh, boundary. I've got something to look at
Yeah, it's
and be
certainly
proud of.
colourful, definitely colourful. I mean, the turtles are
Yes.
colourful, the boglins are colourful. I know the fugglers or the fugglies or whatever you wanna call them, they're quite colourful in themselves, aren't they? So,
Well,
I mean,
they're not normally out here. They're just for the stream,
they're just there for the screen.
but
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
but
But,
no,
I mean,
it is
again,
our lanterns
yeah,
colourful.
yeah, yeah, and I guess I kind of already gonna know the answer to this question, but are you someone who prefers to go out into the wild and see a toy as opposed to going online?
For some things, yes.
Yeah,
Um, so there are some toys that you know you're not going to see in the wild, and if
yeah,
you do, it's probably going to be price.
yeah,
And I mean, even online, at least you can be like, okay, well, I know that it's there. I can maybe put it off for a little bit longer. I know it's not going anywhere, hopefully. But yeah, I prefer to see things. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
SWAT cats. I got one of them from Italy, and to even see one of them in the pristine condition that I mean, he's not pristine, but he's decent condition.
yeah,
It's it's a bit of a 50-50, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, if I'm honest now, yeah, it's some things yes and some things no. Um, so it's a hard one.
yeah.
Some lines yes because you know that you're going to see them in the wild. No, because they're not going to be in the wild.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Right, last question then. What does your collection mean to you?
Everything, to be honest, it's hard work. It it goes to show that I've worked hard and I've achieved something that I probably wouldn't have achieved if I didn't work hard. It's also a collection that I know that my daughter can grow up with.
Yeah,
I had my collection sold in garage sales when I was a kid, and I know that my collection is not going to go anywhere now. So it's something that means a lot.
awesome.
It's
Cool, cool.
yeah,
Would it be
it's hard
something would
work,
it would it
and
be something that you'd pass down to your daughter?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She loves looking at the cabinets and getting things out. She knows she can't open the cabinets without us, and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
sit down, we'll have days where we get stuff out. She'll build stuff as well, so she loves Lego. She's starting to
Brilliant.
get into her own little Lego sets, and yeah, once she builds it, it's like, okay, it's small enough. Where do you want to put it? So she'll go put it in the cabinet. She'll pick, okay, I want it there. All right, it doesn't match the shelf, but all good. So
Oh, bless.
she loves it. So
Oh, that is so cool.
it's fun to look at.
That is so cool. We've come to the end of the conversation, Monique. I've got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Again, this has been such fun. Really enjoyed it. You are a natural in front of the camera, so well done. I know you said you were nervous to
Thank you.
start with, but I think you've done
Yes,
really, really well. I mean, then again, this hour has flown by, so that's
it
testament to
has.
you. So
Yes.
it's been great. Where can people find you on social media?
So it's Instagram. So
Yep.
Mrs. underscore insane underscore Mrs. Insane. It's Mrs. underscore insane underscore. Oh God, I forgot it. It's Mrs.
In
Insane
the
in the
toy
Toy Brain,
brain?
but it's got underscores. It's
Underscores
got
everywhere.
underscores
What I
everywhere.
will do is I will leave a link to your Instagram page in the description below so people can come and check out your page and stuff like that. Like I say, thank you so much. This has been absolutely
No, thank
awesome.
you for
Really do
having me.
appreciate it. And again, we did have this planned a while back, some point last year, but then kind of I stopped doing it for a little bit. And but yeah, it's great to finally get you on and awesome stuff. And we're going to be seeing you
No,
in a
it's been
few weeks'
fun.
time as well, aren't we, for the 24-hour charity live
Yes,
stream? So you're going to be jumping
yes,
on there as well. So
yes, I
brilliant
will
stuff.
be.
Looking
I'll be
forward
on
to
there.
that. Thank you so much.
Will be fun.
Right. Thank you so much for those of you who've watched, listened, stayed to the end. Really do appreciate your support. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now. Cheers.